What's up, guys? Today on Ramblin' Man, we're going to talk about something both Josh and I are passionate about, and that's the grilling life.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, so guys, we're not going to have a debate on this because both Josh and I love grilling, and this year we both have bought separate grills of different types, and we are adamantly fanatics about it. So, for me, I have always been a grill guy. That is a gas grill and a charcoal grill. So I'm not sure about you, Josh. I mean, have you kind of used the same general, I guess, items or grills in the past?
Um, we when you talk about grilling, Eagle Scout. If
You
there's
can
a
use
flame,
anything.
and I'm a firecrafter. So if there's
Yep.
a flame, I can grill on it. If there's not a flame, I'll make a flame and then I'll grill on it. Um, but growing up was mainly in the Tansy Westfield house, as we call it. It was gas because we had the hot tub and the
Yep.
pond and all that stuff. But I'll save the reveal for later. But really, Will, my experience is trivial poultry in comparison. Why don't you tell our viewers what the great and powerful Will Hoppenrath is grilling on this year?
So, like I said, I've always had gas. That's why I always grew up using gas and never thought anything of it. I mean, I was pretty proficient using a gas grill. And anyone who uses a gas grill knows you can throw something on there and boom, done. Now, anyone who's ever used anything other than a gas grill knows that the flavor is typically lacking. So a couple years ago, bought one of those char grills that's like a mix, half and half gas, half charcoal. Josh and I had a great time a few years back using the charcoal portion. Let's just say it was July 4th, and the charcoal side took a beating after that. But to be fair, the charcoal side was phenomenal when it came to flavor. Now, there's a whole bunch of things you can use with charcoal, right? You can use a little chimney stack to heat your charcoal up using a gas, side piece. Or you can do what I normally do, which is put a bunch of briquettes down, light it on fire, and pray to God it catches. And after about 20 minutes of getting it to go, it finally goes. Then you can, grill your food. I was never a connoisseur of charcoals, and I was not great at managing the temperature because it is
You were
not
you,
easy to do.
you were good at the flare and presentation.
Oh yeah, the fire was going. Thank God I didn't catch my house on fire. Those Indiana winds blowing. I was like, I'm gonna burn something down.
There's no cord in that cord.
No,
Look at that. Way to go.
it's all gone. It's all gone. So last year I started doing some research on YouTube, looking around. I have some guys that I work with that are big smokers and that they smoke meats. So I was like, you know what? I want to get a smoker. And it's cold weather most of the time up here, so I need something that I want to use year round. And I stumbled upon and started to love a Traeger. And so this year I bit the bullet and I bought a Traeger Ironwood 885. And that is basically the number applies to the number of square inches of cooking space that you have. So, okay, so the 885 square inches, plenty of stuff. You can cook anything you want on that thing, throw it on, you got the space for it.
What is the most you've cooked on that space? Just for our viewers to get an idea on what could fit on that space.
So a couple weeks ago, we were supposed to have a lot of company over. Unfortunately, ended up due to some circumstances that were unforeseen. We ended up being just myself, my wife, and my in-laws.
Oh,
We,
wait, hold on. So
Yep.
you're offering free food from your Traeger and people
Yeah,
didn't show
right,
up?
yes, yeah. Well, to be fair, I didn't pay for the food, which made it even better.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
More the
I
reason
know,
for what
I know,
the
right?
hell?
So,
So how much food?
the meat was 4.5 pounds of ground beef, which
Okay.
equates to, I mean, I don't say very large hands, but I was just taking burger meat out, kind of forming a ball, making a nice little burger press. It equated to 16 hamburgers. I'm going to guess at least
So
half
how
a
many?
pound each.
So how many? So all 16 on the cooking space?
Oh, yeah. Oh, more than enough space. All 16. I put a full pack of bacon on there. Um, and I still had, at that point, that took the entire bottom rack because obviously bacon takes up a little bit of space due to the length of it. I used the top rack and only used maybe a quarter of it.
Okay.
So there was a lot of space left over. Using different rubs, which I've never done. I mean, I could have done it on a grill, a gas grill. I could have done it on a charcoal grill, but I've never used rubs before or taken the preparation. I think that's the big thing. I'm not sure. I know when you talk about yours, Josh, I'm not sure if it's the same for you or not. But the preparation that I'm taking to make and get the meats ready and then making all the extra stuff. So you can cook anything you want. Anything you can think about smoking, you can smoke, right? So twice already this year, I have made smoked pomegranate ice cubes. So basically just taking pomegranate seeds and then 32 ounces of Palm Wonderful, put in a cooking tray, and you're smoking it for an hour. And this particular model has a super smoke mode, so it produces a lot more smoke. And I will say the first time I made it, I used a pecan pellet, because this is a pellet grill. And then the second time I used the signature blend, which is a mixture of like pecan and cherry and some other ones. And out of everything I made, which everything has been absolutely phenomenal, I don't take credit for that. It's the smoker itself.
So
Yeah.
before you get into that, just because I'm looking at it from an outsider's perspective.
Yeah.
Does the pellet flavor, because it does use pellets, is it noticeable enough that
Yes.
that the average person would be like, this is my burger with black walnut pellets. This is my burger
I would
with,
hazard a guess. If you, and most people, and anyone watching this can probably speak to, right? If you go to like Texas and you get a brisket, like, oh, it's been smoked with like mesquite or hickory, you can tell that. Now, no one really can go, yeah, I've had hickory before, because no one's gonna eat hickory wood, right? We're not like beavers. Well, I mean, So if you use that smoker, eating something with that's been smoked with that flavor, you can distinguish that flavor. Now, the very first thing I used for the first couple of smokes was a cherry pellet. And the flavor it gave, it's not like you're like, oh, here's some cherries that you got from Walmart.
No, because the wood doesn't taste
it was
like
not
a
like
fruit.
that. But it's the flavor, and that's why I was saying with the liquid, with the pomegranate juice. The first time I used the pecan. I had some extra left over because what you do is you take it and you put it into basically an ice cube tray of any kind. I've been using my rubber ones that I use for like my big rocks for my bourbon and everything. You can physically taste the pecan in there. Like, it is evident as anything. You can tell that's pecan.
Okay.
Signature blend, because it's a mix, it has a little more subtle taste, but you can taste it. So when you're making the meats, especially, the color of them, the flavor of them, I have never cooked with anything that has that ability. I mean, I'm making these burgers, and I have pictures all over my phone where the burgers, because of the rub I use. So some I use a Jack Daniel's beef rub. Others I used a Traeger beef rub. They come out with a nice, like, almost mahogany red color when they're done. And then I'm making, like, a couple weekends ago for the 500, I made chicken wings. I've never made chicken wings in my life. I've eaten plenty of chicken wings. Never made any. First off, didn't know how easy that was to make. Super easy. Boiled them, threw them on for 25 minutes. And then I went inside while they were cooking. I made homemade blue cheese, because I absolutely love blue cheese dressing on my wings. I've never done that. And what it is, I don't know what it is about it. I feel like I want to go that extra mile when I'm making stuff. So when we're making things, the sauce and everything, we're making all that, where in the past I've never done it.
Now, would you say the grill is the thing that propelled you to this, or is it the fact that the finished product, when you did it one time, was enough to push you to
so
make that?
I think the big thing is that I didn't know what to expect. Now, the guys that work, they have a big, they actually love it. And there's nothing wrong with the Big Green Egg. The problem is with a traditional smoke, and the reason why a lot of people don't like smokers is when you look at a normal grill, right? If I'm going to make steak on a gas grill, I can probably have it done in 10 to 15 minutes, right? It's going to stay at a consistent temperature. I can flip them once, twice, however you like them, and they're done, right? A smoker traditionally, an offset or a Big Green Egg, you kind of have to be there, right? You can't just leave, because you kind of need to watch
It's a commitment.
Correct. A Traeger, due to the D2 drive that it has, allows you to set it and forget it. So I have an app on my phone. I can control from anywhere I have connection. So if I put a brisket on, and it's going to take 18 hours, or whatever I'm going to put it on for, you can literally go to sleep because it's got a 20-pound hopper in the grill. That 20 pounds is more than enough to carry that long of a smoke. So I go to bed. If it's during the day, I can go 4 towns over. I can go do whatever I want. I can work in the yard. I don't have to check it outside of maybe spritzing it every once in a while if that's what you want to do. I mean, I cooked a pork butt on there in my second cook, and it took longer because I was going at a lower temperature. But what came out at the end after 10 hours was utterly amazing. And I mean, I have a whole like box of just stuff that I use for the Traeger, rubs, all my cleaning utensils, all the extra stuff that you need, the little bear claws that you can get if you want to make pulled
did
pork.
that come with the grill, or was that
No, it's all extra stuff. The grill itself, you get the grill, everything with it. So everything that you have to buy, it's all your basic cleaning utensils, all the normal stuff you buy for a grill, you have to buy extra. Now, I happen to buy Traeger stuff because I'm going to stay with the brand, but unlike any other thing else, and I haven't done a lot of research into the Gorillas.
Pinky up, well,
yeah,
you're
right.
Stay with the brand. Pinky
with
up.
the brand. There's the Gorilla and there's other ones. And I know those people probably have great followings too. When I've watched the Traeger stuff, it is more like a community. Now, Traeger was the first pellet grill on the market back, I think, in the late 80s, early 90s. So they've been around for a little while. And it's the Traeger Nation. That's what they do. And the whole point that
it's
I
like
liked,
Yeti. It's
yes,
like Yeti.
You have that following. And the big thing that I wanted is that I didn't want this to be a spring, summer, early fall thing. I wanted to use it all year round. And one of the reasons I really like the Traeger, this particular one is double walled on the sides and the back. The door is not. Now you got to pay an extra like $500 if I want to go to the Timberline, which is the high level, if you wanted a double walled door. But being that it's cold up here in the Northeast, in the winter, I'm not going to stand outside and grill, right? So I can throw something on and go back inside. And then when my timer on my app says, yep, you're done, I go out there, there's a probe in there, I can check it, I'll externally check it one more time, and then I'm good. I take it inside, we're good to go. So that was one of the big reasons behind why I really wanted to get the Traeger. And, they're not cheap, right? The Ironwood is not a cheap model. I think it cost about $1,500. So it's not exactly something you just go, yeah, I'm going to just go drop this today.
But you researched it. I mean,
yes, I spent a year taking my time making sure.
No man is going to drop $1,500 on a piece of equipment that he hasn't researched.
Exactly.
I mean, somebody that's physically responsible that, isn't a one percenter.
I mean, if I had a just stupid amount of money, I could just blow on anything. Yeah, sure, just go buy it and bring it over. Unfortunately, not at that point yet. So, we'll see what happens. But it was one of those things that this would be week 3. The last 2 weekends I've been unable to smoke anything, and it's killing me inside. This weekend I probably will because I'm going to be off for 4 days, so I'll be smoking something. But I think it's just the variety of what I never contemplated cooking because I'm so used to a normal grill that I never thought about making those things. We did to be fair, I screwed it up because I'm building a platform just to raise it up off the ground so it can sit. Problem is, when I did it initially, I knew it wasn't even because I was just trying to get everything done.
You didn't level it first?
It's not leveled yet. So I pulled it out of the yard and leveled it. So
Jesus
the blocks aren't leveled yet.
No, that's not
so I'm cooking, and we wanted to make breakfast because that day I was going to end up cooking the pork butt, which I did later on. So for breakfast, I have on there my large cast iron skillet with hash browns, so that's cooking. I had bacon cooking, which putting maple syrup, which we have a lot of here, and my father-in-law also makes his own, so it's phenomenal. We make candy bacon essentially.
Hold on. You know me. Did you use the bacon grease to cook the hash browns?
No, that's because technically yes, because the bacon. What had happened was the bacon grease. So a Traeger's offset down left, so the grease flows to the left and drains,
which is
normal. So the problem was my leveling was off to the right, so my grill's basically even. So after a while, the bacon grease sat there and pooled and then caught on fire. So I had to close that thing up. So technically, the hash browns did get cooked with bacon grease, just not the way you think. So, because I had that cast iron, I had a new cast iron small rectangle when I bought on the top. We were making essentially knockoff McGriddles, which is surprisingly easy to do. Once I got everything under control, I got some stuff back in the house because we were cooking eggs on there as well. We made it. I've never contemplated making McGriddles in my life. I don't eat a lot of McGriddles, surprisingly. But we tried it out. And now that I know to make sure that my trigger's angled the correct direction and on level ground, it actually came out really good. The bacon, I've cooked bacon on it twice now. The second time was when I was supposed to have everybody over. And that time I coated it with maple syrup. The bacon on a smoker was unmatched. I have never eaten, and this wasn't like top, thick cut bacon. This is like Oscar Mayer from Walmart bacon. This is not anything great, and you wouldn't have known the difference. You know that I got some prime cut meat from the local butcher shop. So in every aspect, it has been a surprise, and it's weird for me because I don't cook for a lot of people. I cook for myself, my wife. I've cooked for you and your wife.
I was gonna say
before.
you do entertain quite a bit at the grill.
I think more back home in Indy, I did more because I had more people around. Right. We haven't had a lot of people down in yet. I cooked a couple times for my in-laws. So for me, I'm not used to praise in that sense. Like if it's really good, people are like, hey, this is really good. I've had to get used to that, and it's not because of me. I mean, I take the time to prepare the food.
Well, that is
big, which is really big. I mean, if you're going to sit there and make something, so now I won't buy burger patties like I've always done. I will only buy burgers in ground beef or ground chuck, and then make the patties out of that. That way, I can do whatever with, I can add bacon to it. I can add cheese. I can add my rubs. Then you cook them, and I'm not going to lie, it's stupid good, and it's not anything I'm really doing. I mean, yes, I'm adding flavor to it beforehand, but it's all the smoker. And the only bad side is I'm gonna end up buying more meat to cook on a more regular basis. So it's in that aspect, okay, it hurts the bank account a little bit, but I prepared for that because I would have been grilling anyways. I cooked. Walmart had a tomahawk steak. I've never seen Walmart have a tomahawk steak. I'm like, I got to grab that. It was like $24. Great deal. Amazing. Now, just like normal stuff, same problem with yours, there's a learning curve to it, right? I cook something.
We'll get to mine in a little bit.
Yeah. You when you cook something, again, if I cook it for myself or my wife, there's a little more leeway, right? If it's not medium, no one's going to cry about it.
You would hope that's the case. You're the chef.
Hold on.
For our audience, you may have picky eaters. You may have people that have dietary issues, right? Yeah. One thing I think Will and I will agree on is don't go to somebody's house and complain about the food that's made.
Yes.
Now listen, if you're allergic to peanuts and you let your guests,
you could die. I mean,
let your host know beforehand. Yeah. But here's the thing. You're not doing the work.
Yeah, exactly. You're there just to enjoy, have a drink. I mean, it's different because it's no different when you have to sit there and cook a meal on a stove.
It's a labor of love.
Right? You're the one doing all the work, right? And that's what I'm really pumped about. I can't wait for Thanksgiving. I'll do it this summer and try it out. But I watch videos from Traeger. I would say grill chefs. Their main grill masters they use, and they what they call spatchcocking, where they cut the down the spine of the turkey so it can flatten out. Right. Until I watched the video, I didn't know that it existed. Granted, I never really looked into it, so I wouldn't know. And it allows it to be more moist and juicy on the inside.
By the way, for those that are watching, that's called a butterfly cut. If you're a butcher.
Yes. In a meat, I think it's a spatchcock in a bird because they actually removed the spine, I think. Or not they remove the spine, it's able to flatten out. So it flattens the bird out itself. So it's an interesting cut. I'm looking forward to trying that. I will probably try a brisket. We just had a new butcher shop move in town, and I had a guy works for me today, left work early, went over there, bought a 3-pound brisket for $28. So 9 pounds of brisket is I mean, compared to Walmart, that's a fantastic deal. Walmart over here is like $18 a pound. So I can get 2 pounds the price of one. I'll give that a shot. So there's a lot of different things to try, and it doesn't matter if it's beef, chicken, pork, fish or seafood, vegetables, drinks. They have a whole thing on the recipes just for cocktails, right? Smoking ice or water to create smoked ice for a cocktail drink, such as what Josh is drinking right now.
So needless to say, the quick summary of the Traeger is it's awesome, and if you can afford it, get
Correct.
it.
Yeah, they have other ones, the Pro, the Ranger, the Tailgater. They're all smaller. But to be honest, if you can afford what you can afford, and you're wondering, should I do this? If you liked smoked meats or smoked anything, or you're willing to give it a try and you don't mind, a couple $100, especially if you get a Ranger, which is like 400, is a smaller little guy. It's meant to be portable. You got to give it a try. I mean, if you're used to cooking with gas or charcoal, I'm not gonna lie, you're missing out. And to the point, I know Josh will talk about in a second with his, which is technically neither of those. It's neither of those or a smoker per se.
Mm-hmm.
You can't beat that. I honestly believe there's 4 types, right? Gas, charcoal,
you're
mine,
allowed
and yours.
to have your beliefs. Welcome
No,
to.
well, what I'm getting at is because you have charcoal, and that's like the next step, right? Everyone can use gas, or anyone can use gas, right? As long as you have a propane tank, anyone can use gas. It's probably the least difficult one of all of them, right? Charcoal then adds flavor to it. Yeah,
correct.
right. So charcoal adds flavor, adds a little more expertise to the meal because now you're adding flavor to it.
Yeah, a personal stamp, if you will.
I would say smoking and the one you have are probably the next level because they're different in their own way, right? Smoking is usually you go out to a barbecue place that's all smoked, right? What you use, and I'll let you allude into yours, is I would say more old school.
True. So as part 2 of our grilling escapades adventure, if you will, my grill is from Kudu. So that's KUDU for those of you at home that are writing down notes.
I just want to point out, isn't that the name of like an impala or a gazelle type animal from Africa? It's like a kudu or something.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So this grill was developed by actually watching African celebrations. They have a holiday where they grill, and they don't just grill for one person. They grill for a whole village. So it's everybody communally grilling on a device. So if I can paint a picture for those that may be visually impaired that are listening to this YouTube, think of a Kudu grill as essentially a cylinder, right? A circle with about 4-inch rim walls around it. And then on either side of that circular rim are 2 giant poles that go up into the air and 4 legs that go to the bottom and meet the ground. So the grill is probably about chest height to Will and about, I don't know, belly
chin
button
height.
or more chin height to me. It's actually set up pretty high. If you're sitting down in a lawn chair or couch, the rim of the grill would be looking at you in the eye. So essentially what this is it is a charcoal or primarily wood-based grilling system. So on those 2 poles on either side of the grill that come upward, there are actually swivels. So there is a swivel circular pad with a grill on top of it. And then on top of that, on another pole, is a circular rim that's empty, and it will fit a 32-inch cast iron pan.
I was going to ask you how big those, because I've seen pictures when you I think either first got it or a couple weeks ago. How big are those oval
Yeah,
trays or circular trays.
they're each 32 inches.
Okay.
So each
Okay.
are 32 inches around. The nice thing about it is the idea is you create a fire, old school as Will would say, with your actual wood, and then you essentially can raise or lower each one of either the grill circle or the cast iron pan circle to kind of manage the heat level. So for those of you that don't know, I am an Eagle Scout, third generation Eagle Scout, a firecrafter from Indiana. So I can create fire from essentially nothing, um,
Which is good. Good to have.
which is good. It is good to have, especially with this grilling system.
Yep.
My goal personally is I take one match, I light it, I lay it into my fire, and that should be it. You build a good enough fire with enough kindling, enough tinder, logs, you should be able to light it with one match. I've always been able to do that.
Well, I will say this because I will. One time he didn't, and that wasn't his fault. It was due to Mother Nature, and he did get the fire going. It wasn't his fault. The wind was like at 30-mile-an-hour that night. So to be fair to Josh, he has started a fire every time. It just took more than one match. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah. So the nice thing about this is, just as Will said with this Traeger, the flavor that you cook on, it comes from the wood.
Which
And
have you tried different woods yet?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So my wood guy that only delivers native Indiana wood.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
it's nothing, brought out. Like I didn't get like a Bradford pear tree that was cut down from a neighborhood or something weird like that. So I've cooked on hickory, I've cooked on oak, I've cooked on maple, I've cooked on applewood, and I've cooked on cherry.
Well, I was going to say too, I've watched some not similar since they use wood, right? I've seen some smokers that obviously offsets use wood and some others that use wood. And they'll have their normal base set to create the fire. And then they'll throw in like chunks of hickory or whatever mesquite, whatever wood they're using as a flavor. Do you have that ability at like Menards or somewhere close to you that you can buy like chunks of flavored, like that type of flavor you want? Or do you use actual full on pieces to get that flavor going?
Well, YouTube can grill me if they want on this one. I was just thinking about it. So the nice thing with the Kudu, just to give you some concept, is think of it like a fire pit and a grill. So when you light it, people are going to see what you're doing, right? And even in a neighborhood like mine in suburbia, Indiana, where I live, the smoke and everything and the scent carries. So the moment I start grilling, I've got dads looking over my fence. And
is that for me?
Yeah. Dude, what are you doing? Can I come in? And
bring the meat, I'll cook it.
Right. So, and of course, that's you're right about a wood fire. Is a good wood fire, if any true, wood fire griller will tell you, is an ember or a coal is 10 times hotter than a flame. So my grilling ethic is you start the fire at least 2 to 3 hours before you're even going to cook on it, because you want those coals down. I want a bed of coals in my Kudu grill. I want that Kudu grill lined with those nice hot embers. And then, Will, you're absolutely right. If I'm going to smoke or I want to add that smoke flavor, obviously, first of all, it's a wood fire grill. Smoke is going to happen.
Part of it.
But if you're doing something like chicken or fish, where the meat is going to be instantly imbued by whatever you're smoking with, you add that on immediately. And I don't put water on my wood. I don't worry about conserving it, because for me, it's a Kudu grill. I'm going to grill on it. We're going to come back with our plates in our hands. We're going to watch the fire. We might even do s'mores on it.
Well, it's multi-purpose. That's one thing I do like about it. And you might be able to go into this more, but how heavy is it? Is it fairly heavy, or could you move it relatively easily?
It's fairly heavy. I would say it's about 20 pounds.
So therein lies, I think, too, is it's multi-purpose in the sense of if you went camping, you could take that with you.
I was going to get to that. So I actually,
I'm just hitting you off right at the pass.
Stealing
your thunder.
I spent the $35 on the carrying case.
There you go.
So you can actually take everything in the base model and break it down and put it in a case that you can then throw in your car. So for those of you that camp a lot, it's one of those things where you get the atypical, campfire pit, and you're like, ooh, there's beer cans in there and condoms.
I don't really want that.
Whatever else.
What was cooked on this last time? I don't know, but it don't look good.
Right. So bring your Kudu grill with you. In fact, we have talked about taking it on the lake. For those of you, the term is beach in a boat, where you bring the boat back up to, it's still on the water, but the water's like really, it's like ankle deep, right? So there's a lot of pictures on the Kudu website of people literally putting that grill in the ocean, in a lake, and literally taking.
Well, you get the clearance for it too, and you can do everything right there. And
exactly,
even if you put it in the water or right on the edge, you don't have to drag it up the beachhead to grass. You have it right there, and you don't have to leave your boat.
Right.
You jump in the water.
It's the other thing that's nice is I bought the smoker lid for it. So you talked about how my grill is a little bit of everything and also nothing. So depending upon, remember, my grill can swing out. So I can swing out that cast iron pan. I can raise or lower it. So if the wind is blowing in a certain direction and my smoke is carrying in that direction,
you can move it around.
I can swing my grill or my cast iron that way. So you talk about cooking breakfast. I can't tell you how many times I've literally had the cast iron pan cooking my eggs. I've had the grill above that cooking the bacon. So the bacon grease falls into the eggs, and that is keeping it from sticking right in the cast iron. And then I'm literally smoking my bacon. I'll transition the eggs out and I'll throw in pancakes or hash browns, anything that needs grease to really cook up good. And if you've never cooked biscuits on bacon grease, oh my God, give it a try.
Missing out. I will say this: the interesting thing about both of these is that, unlike other ways to grill, and I'm not knocking the other ways because I've done both before, at least charcoal and gas. In my opinion, smoking, and whether it's on a Traeger, anything else using the Kudu, anything like that, it takes time and preparation. And I think that's what makes it even better. Whether you're preparing the food, in your opinion, like you said, you're preparing the wood and the fire to get those embers going so it's the right burn when you go to do it. It just, in some way, it makes it more satisfying.
It's relaxing.
Yeah, you're doing that. I have probably just like you're taking 2-3 hours ahead of your cook to go and make sure it's ready to go, right? You don't get that with a gas grill. You take the cover off, you turn it on, in a minute and a half, it's already at temperature, probably not even that. It's at 450, throw them on. Oh, we're going to have some drinks while I wait and cook. I'm going to stand next to the grill, flip them, take them off, right? You don't get to enjoy. Now, it's great if you don't have time, right? A smoker or a wood fire grill is not conducive if you are under a time constraint, because you can't cook them. I mean, I could cook these burgers that I'm making, these half-pound burgers. It really is about 40 to 45 minutes. Now, if I use a gas grill, it's done in like 10, if that, right? But to the point that you made is it's just so much more because you've so much invested in it. It's relaxing, if you're making all the meal beforehand, you're prepping it, you're prepping the grill. I mean, I enjoy, and you might be the same way because I know generally how you are. When I had my other grill, my charcoal or char grill, I cleaned it, but it wasn't like it was in great condition. And maybe because I spent a lot of money on this, every 2 times after I cook, I take it apart, I clean it out. I clean every inch of that grill to make sure it looks like I just got it off of the showroom floor. Because it's, to your point, it's relaxing. It's something that's so mundane that 10 years ago I'm like, I gotta, clean the grill off, or I gotta clean the grill grates. No, it's I want to do it because I made an investment in something that I know can last a long time, and I get a lot of enjoyment, not just from the food it produces, but making everything.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. So the one thing that I didn't get to say, and that statement alone just jarred into my memory. The thing that I just bought for my grill is a pot hook, and I
Ooh,
bought a Dutch oven,
yep,
uh,
that's gonna be nice.
clay glazed pot. And one of the things that I want to do this winter is I want to make mulled wine on a fire grill smoked.
It's gonna be
That
nasty. That's gonna be, oh God,
that is going to be a culinary adventure. That
mm,
is the time and the effort you put into it. Now,
yep,
as much time as we enjoy the putting forth the effort, I will say the only thing that might trump the 3 hours of bliss that you get to do with setting it up is watching people's facial expressions when they bite
yeah,
into that burger, or they have that smoked, you know,
yeah, steak,
pomegranate ice
fish, or something like.
cube in their drink, or they're having that salmon steak that you cooked over, just
I will say this: everything I've made so far, I've been the first one to try it before someone else has. So I'm like, okay, am I prepping myself? Is this gonna be good or not? It's like every time you bite into it first time, no matter what it is, you're just like, oh my God,
now see
that
now,
just, oh.
me and Will are different. I'm arrogant enough where I don't need the first try. I'm like,
No, I just do it because I just love eating. I'm not waiting. I am
I
not waiting. Obviously,
I'm
you
like
can't see on the camera. I love to eat.
now
Okay, I
now
do love a good food.
I'm arrogant enough to be like, I put in the time, I put in the effort.
I know it's going to be good, right?
This is going to be
Yeah,
good.
right. I really, that's, and we've talked about it. I mean, I could go on for hours. I know Josh could too, because
True.
there's so many positives with these, and obviously, you know, things cost what they cost, right? You
The
know,
the cost is not necessarily the issue, because you could take a charcoal grill, you could make it a
correct.
wood
You could make
fire
it.
grill.
Yep. You could do all those things in a normal grill. Right. Well, charcoal, correct? Because if you use a gas, you get all the crap underneath, right? You could do those things. You could make a normal charcoal grill or even a gas grill into a smoker. It's not like you can't. People have DIY stuff on YouTube that do those things. But you know, I'm a type of person that if I'm going to go in, I'm going all in. Right? I'm not going to half-ass it. I'm not going to cut corners.
You're gonna research it. You're gonna
Yeah, I'm
do
going
it
to
the
take my
time.
time, and I spent a year. I really wanted to get it a year ago, but I didn't. I took the time, made sure, is this what I want? If I'm going to spend that type of money, is this what I want to spend it on? And I don't see in the future me saying this was a bad investment,
Well,
because
the
it's
same,
not going to be.
and same thing with me. Our grills
Yep.
are completely different. They
Yeah.
really are.
But they bring
Um,
so much joy to people who eat those food and ourselves just from making the food.
Absolutely. Um, you know what? Well, we've talked about grilling for about an hour. I think we need
Yeah,
to
it's
move
been a
on to
while.
the next topic,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah. So thanks, guys, for joining us. If you have anything, you want to leave in the comments, questions for us, tell us what you enjoy doing. You have some, tips and tricks you enjoy doing with whatever grill you use. Tell us how you like to make it. Let us know.
Recipes.
Yeah. Oh, you don't even start on recipe. That's a whole
Yeah.
nother one. There are some recipes out
I
there
mean,
that.
if you've never tried my cherry pie Dutch oven, you ain't living. You ain't living till that shit
I'm sure I'll
happens.
try it sometime. It sounds so wrong, but I just have Warren stuck in my head, cherry pie. But that's a whole different thing. So, all right,
Uh,
guys, we appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe. Tell us what you think. But we'll see you on the other side.
See you guys.